Hello everyone, I'm going to insert myself into the conversation here, and we are in day 3 actually.
Yeah.
And Brian's been hard at work doing all kinds of, oh, we don't have any lights on.
That's okay, because you're just writing on the board, it's good.
Yeah, we're going to just do it quick and dirty here. Brian gave us a fantastic, I can tell you that your follow-up person who's helping you really likes to get the, the interaction with the client, because the name of the email is called Urgent Questions. This is urgent! And it is. Because in these questions, we were asking about the patents and methodologies. We're trying to get at the pain behind the question and make this real, like really create a real USP.
Right.
And we're also aware that we have the consumer to, business to consumer versus business to business. There's a lot of things that ultimately the CEO is going to have to decide that we can't really decide, but you can come back with amazing data on. And so we started looking at all the major patents, USPs, and they came back with amazing stuff. Building energy modeling, design and engineering, professional tie-in, and the unique position that only this company can do. And that's what we're looking for. This is the J. Abrahamian approach. This is the Ibn Pagan approach. All of my mentors in the past who help you craft USP. You can't really create a banner campaign. And really what I like to do is once you take the USP, then you try to look at markets. And you start thinking, I literally think in banners, social media sound bites, and calls to action. I walk around this world, and all I do when I'm looking around is I'm just soundbiting and USPing and bannering everything. How do I create a converting banner to sell this product, right? Now, here's one of the biggest tricks in the book. Sue and I taught this years ago. We actually taught it over 4 years ago. In fact, one of the first documents we ever wrote was how to steal your competitor's pitch. And it was done, this is why in ThemeZoom 1.0, we actually installed the entire ClickBank database. Are we good still? We actually imported the entire ClickBank database daily tied to the keywords. There's a reason for that. Even then I knew, I wasn't teaching ISDNA yet, I hadn't evolved that far, but I knew that it was incredibly important to swipe headlines, and I wanted keyword-rich headlines. So in looking at this, you came up with a few different USPs from this, and you wrote one, and I've actually pulled from ClickBank. I found out that business to consumer energy products, I happen to know this as well from my interaction with Jonathan Mizell, who's a banner campaign expert. And I come from an industry where, I'm very familiar with solar for business to consumer. ClickBank has a headline. Yep. And the headline is essentially, I don't think they can really say it.
See it.
But I do have it here on the computer. Yeah, I can't really see it. I'll go ahead and write it down. Remember I was talking about specificity on the headline, get as specific as you can. Right. You'll see a lot of it, and you got to be careful with gimmick, with creating too much gimmick. But it's called Save $95. Might be a little bit too gimmicky with a
95.66 per month.
Yeah.
For life.
Yeah. Per month. The reason we bring this up is because literally this paper that the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company sent us is literally saying that this is what they do.
Right.
They will get you paid. And essentially the electric company will pay you.
For life. On your electricity bill. Using green. And free in capital letters. Energy.
Yeah, this is a big, huge buzz term right now, free energy. And remember, we did see free energy come up. Free energy actually falls under a category called alternative energy. It's less under renewable. I just know this because I know this. But this is something we might want to consider. The reason I bring this up is when you're creating headlines, again, this is not appropriate headline for every piece of content or mailer or ad that they have. This is stuff you do when you really want to get attention really, really quickly. My point here is it's incredibly specific. What's the problem behind the problem, and how does it get your attention? Well, the call to action is you're literally getting, what are you selling, how much does it cost, what's in it for me, and why should I believe you? I'm a firm believer that when you have a really short soundbite, what's in it for me is very important. Okay, and it depends on the context. Like, you wouldn't want to pitch this necessarily on a Twitter account, but what's in it for me, this is direct. This creates a tangible, by giving it a tangible value, And you do have to be a little bit careful about making it too gimmicky. A lot of copywriters now are, I made $395, 42.653241 cents. That's over specific, that's too specific. And you got to make it sound blend. But this, because of the overall context, this really gets your attention.
Yeah, because at the consumer level, we have a median average bill of say $165.
Yes.
And you're impacting that bill by X.
It's real world. It's real world. And for example, somebody in your organization came up with a headline like the one that you just read a couple minutes ago. Why don't you say that one?
Sure. So one of the headlines that we came up with was how to break free from oil dependency by switching to renewable energy sources.
And that's not horrible, but when I hear that, see, as a copywriter and a neuromarketer, I immediately shift into the practice of empathy is key for a master copywriter and neuromarketer. We have to actually change who we are and sit in the position of somebody who's in pain. Okay, and when I hear that, for me, that's a great Facebook campaign because it's got a lot of value words like renewable energy sources, and that's not terrible. It might be great for Facebook. It probably is great for a magazine article. It might be great for radio if the CEO is speaking, and it's great for the general value system. But hard actions, you get more specific.
Can we take his headline and just change out a couple of the words to make it more impactful?
Absolutely. Let's. You want me to write that here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there anything else you want to say about this, before we erase it?
The point is we can come up with it again. I want everybody to notice that the 9566 takes the renewable energy source idea and takes it out of the realm of abstraction and wishful thinking and puts it into, hey, I have a specific way of saving you this amount of money. It's like Sue was talking about 4 out of 5 dentists versus 90%.
20% of dentist X, yeah.
This is called disambiguation for the left brain. Left brain thinks in terms of actual numbers and takes actions based on a believable thing. This is tangibilization. For life, on your electricity bill, using green-free energy, okay? It starts to get a little bit more abstract as we go along, but this is the hook.
Right.
Okay. So let's go.
The for life was, per month for life was really impactful on me.
And residual income is an extremely important business. So you've approached business, you've approached value system. And that's why this product is doing so incredibly well. And the point here is this is a ClickBank product with a very appropriate gravity, doing a lot of sales with a hefty commission. And it's got that kind of gravity because it's doing well. And it's doing well because the headline engages the consumer market, which is just me sitting at home going, wow. This makes me believe that, wow, maybe I could, set up, maybe I could do this, right? Okay, so if we take the other, let's take the more general line that you created, which I think is still fantastic. This is not being...
No, it's a starting point.
The starting point, we're not being overly critical.
Yeah.
And just so you know, Russ and I, we when we're doing an advertising campaign, we'll start at a point and we'll banter stuff back and forth until,
Yes, and by no means, and during the brainstorming stages, I follow the David Allen method of brainstorming. And during phase 1 brainstorming, you're not allowed to overthink yourself.
You got to dump everything into your inbox and start processing.
Yeah. I know you're very familiar with GTD, but the big value there is that's how the brain works. Just do a brain dump, and I might have 100 different headlines, and that's part of the frequently asked questions to should ask questions value. Is you're actually involved in the brain dump while you're actually creating cool stuff. And what happens with most brainstorming sessions is that you get lost in it and you don't really build while you're brainstorming. So the FAQ, SAQ actually builds it while you're brainstorming. And it's really cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and write yours down. What was yours again?
So how to break free from oil dependency by switching to renewable energy sources.
Now, one of the things I want to point out right away, this is advanced stuff,
sources.
And I'm just bringing it up because I want our audience and you to be thinking, when I tell you that you will save $95.66, that's the pain behind this question. The brain has to process oil dependency. The first thing that I think about is I'm going to be honest. I'm going to channel. I'm going to channel a person in pain.
Right.
That's what I do. I literally okay, I'm going to pretend that I'm not me, and I'm going to come from this perspective. The first thing that happens here is it may not be true in Canada. You guys may be on a whole other level. I don't know. First thing I think about here is I don't care. Oil dependency, I could care less about oil dependency. In fact, the telling me that I'm dependent about is probably a buzzword politically. So you might have social. I think it's a Facebook type of thing. But the thing that happens is break free from oil dependency. Why? That's loss aversion. You've immediately created loss. Like, I have to change. Okay? If there's no reason for the change. I don't have that 90s. I'm selfish. People are selfish. I just am. Okay? I don't give a crap about the world's oil supplies, and I probably do. Like, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Facebook liking all the great stuff, and at the end of the day, though, it doesn't affect my bottom line, and I'm not going to take action unless I know that I get something for letting go of this dependency. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, imagine, because oil and energy is like an addiction. Addicts are not necessarily going to be responding to a call to action that suggests that somehow there's value in changing without expressing what the change behind the question actually is. So it's weak. And any great copywriter will tell you that. By switching to renewable energy sources, okay? This assumes that I care, okay? And there are a lot of people who do care about these things. I don't want you to misunderstand the regard. This is great for PR. If you want to go to PR Web, this will be a great paragraph for that.
Yeah.
If you want to go, and so I'm not criticizing anything you're taking. Remember yesterday we talked about context is the new content?
Right.
And Sue and Matt and I spent a lot of time looking at this. It's like, wow, this headline was great for this, but terrible for this.
And I think you're framing the context quite elegantly.
That's what I want to do. So I'm not criticizing your headline.
Yeah.
In the past, I would have told people, okay, we're throwing this headline away, bad boy. Not in this environment. Now it's like everything, for me, this is a great Facebook, write-up. It's like a wall post, something like that. We've got to get rid of our oil dependency and switch to renewable energy sources, rah, rah. And all my friends go, yeah. And then nothing ever happens. But $95.25 per month, yeah, I'm gonna buy your frickin' ebook. All right, or you know what? I'm gonna opt into Klebs and buy, I'm gonna buy that. In fact, sell me a kit.
So could you think about changing that context a little bit and saying, break free from the rising cost of oil?
Yeah, that is far less abstract. So break free from here's where you would insert the pain behind the question.
Yeah. Rising
cost. I like to put the screws on, the thumb screws.
Mm-hmm.
It's still not painful enough. You don't even have to create pain where there isn't anything. There actually is pain. And if you don't take the opportunity to point it out, you're just wasting your time. The real pain, the real thumb screw, rising costs. Let's go deeper. Did you know, it's really the essence of it. Even if you don't say $97.49 per month is what you can say, because that's a little too, you could actually get into it that you should be not affected by the rising costs of oil at all. You know what I mean? You can rephrase that sentence, to let them know that they could be paying a lot less right now, So these are different things that you can use. So how to break free from the rising costs of oil dependency by switching to renewable sources. So let's take a look at your thing. Let's follow the same thing we did for the FAQ, SAQ. What is the pain behind the question? For example, we turn this into a question. How can I break free from oil dependency by switching to the renewable sources? Just take any headline you do and just create the same transition that we taught you in the FAQ, SAQ site. How can I break free from oil dependency? What's the pain behind the question, Brian? Same thing.
The pain is the rising cost of oil.
What's the pain? No.
The pain's
Nope.
The pain is my having to write a check every month to the electric company.
Bingo. I could care less about the rising cost of oil.
It's the impact on your bottom line, on your salary. Well, in the UK, put it this way: 25% of what you earn, if you earn $1,000 a month, 20% of that goes to your gas and electric.
Yes.
Just like a poof.
And even 20% is too big.
But that's like £200
There you go. Now you're getting somewhere.
£200 out of my £1,000 a month I pay goes to roughly my gas and my electric. Anywhere between 100 and 200, depending where you are.
Right, so you're talking about real world scenarios. So the pain behind the question, am I in pain? Am I asking this question because I'm in pain about the rising oil dependencies? Not necessarily wrong, but what is my real pain? For example, saying that my pain is about rising cost of oil dependency makes me think that I'm sitting there under a tree in my front yard and I'm like, oh man, when I was at coffee this morning, I saw this thing and it said there's a massive rising cost of oil. And you're sitting under the tree and you're going, man, I'm in such pain with this rising cost of oil. No, what's going on in the brain is you have to make the jump from I'm personally not, I don't even know, when you say the rising cost of oil for me personally, and I'm actually a liberal green advocate, I don't even know what that means. To me, I don't, it's like, okay, when I go to the gas pump, I must be paying more, or when I go get my oil change.
Yeah. It's
very abstract. I have to go 5 different levels of separation to make that have anything to do with what you're trying to sell me. And then there's renewable energy. There's 15 or 20, it's not specific enough. Okay, what do you mean? Say solar
by
power.
switching to geothermal energy.
There you go, geothermal. And the problem that you then face, even though you've done a great job of making it specific,
it's still not specific enough.
Well, no, let's be clear. Then you're dealing with something that's called cultural memes, language barriers. Matt's pointed out a lot of stuff with me on this, like what's true in Scotland. The way you always say something in Scotland is very different than it is, and so
yes.
But I don't know what geothermal is. I'm not educated. So you've got an undereducated market, just like we have with website silo architecture. We've spent about $100,000 teaching the world about something to let them know that they even needed it. So I know the pain of having to pay to educate a market. Okay, we know that. The geothermal, what you can do is if there's an easy way to say geothermal that everybody will understand, great copywriters will do that. They might say, you only do that if a word is an industry jargon. You do want to use industry jargon on your Twitter campaign, especially when you're following people who geothermal is a word they get. But on a headline where you're trying to sell stuff, you may not use geothermal.
So could we say break free from your oil bill by switching to ground source energy?
You are getting really good. You're getting much more tangible. Break free from your oil bill from the ground source energy. And what I would do if I was in a market that didn't understand, that would probably say using the power of the Earth's own heat.
Sure.
Okay? Just come on. What do you say?
That's really dumbing that big term down to what it is.
Yeah. And that's what you have to do.
Do you guys use oil to get your heating in countries?
Yeah. So people, just to sort of reiterate that, because we're in a sun belt here, and it's a little hard for you to understand that, but. There's 2 premises. There's a dependency on oil-based heating systems in our climate. People use oil-based furnaces to heat their homes.
That's fine.
Are you actually burning oil? Or?
They're burning oil.
I understand. So,
and obviously there's 2 tangents there. So there's the guys that are in electricity heat, and there's the oil guys. And that exploding cost of oil right now is making people rethink their furnace.
Right, and you understand that everybody here understands this already.
No, I didn't get the whole
I'm actually trying to change your personal brain right now.
Yeah.
Oil dependency, even just right then when you explained it to me, you got way more specific than your original headline that you came here this morning.
Yeah.
Oil heat bill, or oil heat dependency.
Oil heating.
Yes,
oil heating.
Oil dependency is so general.
Yeah.
And then you just went less general, which is oil heating. That would have been way better than this. Your conversion rate would have gone up 5%. Oil heating bill will go up in a higher click-through rate, even like another 5%. Yeah. My point here, Brian, is that when you're doing your frequently asked questions, you should ask questions. Break it down, and don't write headlines as if someone is sitting and contemplating something under a tree somewhere in some kind of abstract value system. The reptilian brain, it's the book you bought yesterday called Neuromarketing. He has a basic reduction of that. Only cares about me right now. Don't care about big ideas. I don't care about the biggest social media, Facebook cause, which has thousands of active members, but very little money is made, and we know this. Unless they start creating calls to action systems and what's called donation systems on Facebook, they fail. Harry Marshall has the jury's in on this. That's because it's the same issue we face. It's too general, it's too broad, it's a great idea, and everybody loves it, and all I have to do is click the like button. But at the end of the day, after everybody's clicked like, and after everybody's cast their like vote, the only way that money has been made is if somebody asks you or makes it specific enough. Okay, so how to break free from oil dependency, or you can get closer.
Break free from oil heating bills.
What is break free? Stop paying ridiculously high oil heating bills when you can use the Earth's own free heated energy and then put the cost. What is going to, I mean, you can do whatever you want. You can test several headlines. The point is, make it specific. Okay. So that's what you do. You'd leave this, maybe use it for a social media campaign, make it for a Facebook campaign, or start a Facebook cause group or something for a value idea, and then jump directly to your should ask. Headline, question, or this is what we call the direct marketing headline. And I admit that you don't want to use a direct marketing headline anywhere. And even that previous headline, which was 90 saved, literally the Geico commercial, want to save more money in your car insurance, is very bad. They should say you want to save $96.23 per month on your car insurance if you drive a mid-level, blah blah blah, or up to cover their butts, up to $96.95. So when you can do that and you have a large audience, that's called the irresistible offer. What are you selling? Everybody knows you're selling something, so don't pretend you are with like a big highfalutin oil dependency. You're just doing everybody, including yourself, a disservice. What are you selling? Well, you're selling geothermal, the Earth's own thing, and a process of education how to do it. Wow, okay, thank you. You just saved me 5,000 brain cells trying to fit, or worse yet, or worse yet, you saved yourself a lower click-through rate.
Right.
Okay. Now, what are you selling? How much does it cost? Well, that ad in ClickBank, which is a high gravity, and obviously a lot of people selling on their affiliate links, they tell you exactly what you're going to make. They don't tell you how much it's going to cost. Okay, you can leave that out. Remember, you only need about 2 or 3 out of 4. What are you selling? We know it's geothermal. What does it cost? You can leave that out. Interesting but incomplete. What's in it for me? Well, holy crap. So the what's in it for me, breaking free from oil dependency, you're really careful with that type of idea values. And why should I believe you?
Because it comes off as an ideology.
Yes. Ideologies are wonderful for heavy white papers and for writing books. I know I'm in the middle of writing one, blah, blah, blah. It's heavy. But it's not going to create sales directly. It's indirect sales. So
if I did something like Stop the Tyranny, would that also fall into the same category as How to Break Free?
If you're doing a Facebook campaign, conspiracy theory is awesome. I'm an expert in conspiracy theory and what you call conspiracy-driven campaigns.
What was that zombie one that we had?
Yeah. But that was more humor. The Onion has a lot of... The Onion is a satire magazine in the United States. Are you familiar with The Onion?
I've seen it, yes.
Yeah. They do a lot of banner stuff, and as long as they're on topic, they use humor and conspiracy combined. And that creates something called the novelty matrix in the brain. The brain loves humor. It loves death, fear, and angst. That's why Facebook is optimal for conspiracy theory. Every major corporation and whistleblower on earth is making a massive impact on Facebook. But you know what? Very few of them are converting into anything real. They're creating large amounts of people using conspiracy. So if you want to ask the word tyranny, anything that's what's called a reticular activator, any words that appear break free, if you want to use, be careful with terms where you're demonizing anyone, only because it could come back. But if done properly, creating an enemy is a fantastic campaign. Okay, there are several campaigns that I've participated in with the enemy, where someone has named specifically an enemy. Make sure that 2 things can happen: that someone doesn't come back and sue your ass, that you don't make the enemy so specific, even though it would be ideal to demonize a specific person or organization.
So you could see it as generally by saying, "Are you fed up of paying high oil? Are you fed up of oil companies?"
Well, I was just going to make the oil bill the tyranny.
Yeah, it is.
The tyranny of paying.
That's a little abstract. If you're going to create a tyrant, make it specific.
Okay.
And this is a little abstract. Like, I know this from the Obama administration when he hijacked a lot of the home mortgage stuff.
Right.
A lot of the campaigns tried to demonize him specifically.
Right.
Those mortgage things, and that's fair use because he's a public figure. So you can get into that.
Yeah.
If you're going to go for your competitor or anything else, be careful with competitor. It actually is better to create a specific demon. For example, in the Obama campaign, I think it was One of the campaigns that failed was the current administration, blah, 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 makes it so there's write-offs and blah, 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 right? Where it has removed the write-offs and blah, blah, blah. But as soon as you take something abstract, like you did here, the current administration, that's really ambiguous. If you change it from current administration to Obama, even though it wasn't Obama specifically, they can remember that. And it puts more energy because then there's somebody they can attach those laws, the healthcare laws.
They can focus on one person.
Right.
Yeah. So notice how that person distinction is not really different than the abstraction of, say, oil dependency.
Exactly.
Distinction. It used to be location. Not for me in this new environment. Location is actually a different topic. Now it's distinction. Specific. Okay? Yep. So you've done a fantastic job. It's way better than what you had. Stop paying stupid prices on your oil heating bill when you can use the free heat source created by theirs, blah, blah, blah. You have to write it because I don't know the market. I literally know nothing about this particular company. So but you get where I'm coming from?
Yep.
Then you would put this in your pane behind the pane, and then the next sheet over on a spreadsheet, you would write it in the should ask question. Or actually the TIO.
Yeah.
You would actually put it in the TIO. It's not necessarily a should ask question, but you can put it in a TIO. Okay?
Cool.
All right.